In the fast-paced modern world, we've complicated nearly everything, even composting. From fancy tumblers to overpriced microbial activators, the simple act of decomposing organic matter has become an over-engineered process. Yet, in Amish communities, composting remains rooted in timeless wisdom, effective, low-cost, and deeply connected to the rhythms of the earth. If your compost pile is slow, stinky, or simply not breaking down right, the Amish way might reveal exactly what you're doing wrong. Most modern composters make one of three major mistakes. They overmanage, they underlayer, or they forget that composting is not a mechanical process. It's biological. The Amish understand this better than anyone. Their compost heaps don't rely on gadgets or shortcuts. They rely on balance, patience, and natural diversity. The first Amish secret is simplicity. Many gardeners today pile up too much of one thing, grass clippings, kitchen scraps, or leaves, and call it compost. But composting thrives on balance. The Amish start by creating alternating layers of green, which are nitrogen-rich materials like fresh weeds, manure, or kitchen waste, and brown, which are carbon-heavy items like straw, sawdust, or dry leaves. These layers are built deliberately, often in outdoor piles that breathe naturally rather than sealed bins. This layering system encourages airflow and microbial activity without constant turning. And that's another thing most of us do wrong: overturning. Many tutorials insist that compost should be turned every week, sometimes even every few days. But in Amish composting, too much disturbance can actually slow decomposition. The natural heat that microbes generate gets lost every time you turn the pile. Instead, the Amish method allows the compost to rest, giving bacteria, fungi, and earthworms the quiet time they need to work uninterrupted. Turning only happens when absolutely necessary. Typically once or twice during the entire decomposition process. Another mistake gardeners make is, ignoring moisture balance. Compost should be as damp as a wrung-out sponge, not soaked or bone-dry. Amish farmers, they can tell this by touch. They rely on the feel of the pile, not a moisture meter. If it's too dry, they'll sprinkle water or manure tea. If it's too wet, they'll mix in more straw or shredded stalks to absorb excess moisture. This subtle observation skill, learned from years of working with the land, is something no machine can replicate. The third overlooked principle is the use of manure. While many modern gardeners avoid manure due to odour or fear of pathogens, the Amish know how to use it safely and effectively. Fresh animal waste, especially from horses, cows or chickens, provides the nitrogen and beneficial microbes that kickstart the composting process. Rather than dumping it all at once, they layer it thinly between browns, letting it heat the pile naturally. This controlled addition speeds up breakdown and infuses the final compost with rich microbial life that synthetic fertilizers just can't match. The Amish also understand the value of patience. Their compost isn't a weekend project, it's a seasonal process. It often takes 6 months to a year for a pile to fully mature. But when it does, the result is astonishing. A crumbly, dark, sweet-smelling humus teeming with life. This compost, when spread on garden beds, feeds the soil for months, releasing nutrients slowly and evenly. It's not just fertilizer, it's a living ecosystem booster. You know, modern gardeners often try to rush this natural process using accelerants or what they call hot compost methods that burn through material quickly, but, well, they often yield sterile results. The Amish compost, however, prioritizes life over speed. They trust in nature's own timeline, letting fungi and microorganisms build the foundation of soil health. Another remarkable Amish practice is compost placement. Instead of piling compost in isolated bins far from their gardens, they often build their compost heaps directly on fallow beds. As the material decomposes, nutrients seep into the soil below, preconditioning the area for the next planting season. This eliminates waste and labour, an efficient circular system that really mirrors how nature works in forests and fields. Finally, one of the most profound lessons from Amish composting is respect for the soil. They view compost not as garbage recycling, but as a sacred process, a transformation of waste into life. Every leaf, every manure clump, and every straw layer has purpose. Nothing is wasted, nothing is rushed. The Amish approach reminds us that true composting isn't about managing decay. It's about nurturing rebirth. So, if your compost pile smells foul, breaks down unevenly, or simply doesn't seem to come alive, you might be overcomplicating things. Strip it back. Layer it simply. Keep it moist, but not wet. Let it rest. Add manure mindfully. And above all, give it time. The Amish method works not because it's old, but because it's natural. It aligns with how the earth has recycled life for millennia, quietly, efficiently, and perfectly balanced. The next time you're tempted to buy a fancy compost activator or turn your pile for the 10th time, remember this. The best compost is made by working with nature, not against it. By embracing Amish composting wisdom, you'll produce richer, more fertile soil than ever before. Without machines, without chemicals, and without stress. Just patience, balance, and respect for the living soil beneath your feet.